Hey guys, what's up? It is your girl, Grace Torie, and I'm back with a whole new podcast episode. Today we are getting into a vacation drama. A lot of my friends are having a European summer, which, good for them, honestly, so happy for them, nothing but love. But also, I wish I was having a European summer. So I'm living vicariously through you guys and reading your crazy vacation stories. Some of these you are asking for advice on. Some of these are just so unhinged I had to share them. But either way, it's going to be a good time. And yes, they're from Reddit. Before we jump in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, all the fun things, leave a rating and review, you know, whatever platform you're on. It takes 2 seconds, it's free, and it means the absolute world to me. If you like stories, if you like trying to reach your goals, I like to say giggles and goals, I feel like that really sums us up, then definitely don't forget to hit that subscribe, follow, whatever the word is on the platform you're listening on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. I'm Grace Torie, and you're listening to That Girl, the podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. Am I the a-hole for booking one cruise room for my fiancé and I and my parents?
How dare you?
He better have a good reason for this, because just reading this, yes. It's nothing to do with like the parents. They could be the sweetest parents in the world. I'll get into it. It's just, yes, okay. I, 27 male, wanted to book a 3-night cruise for my fiancé, female 24, and my parents, who are both over 50. I discussed booking a room together with the 4 of us as a group, but did not discuss it privately with my fiancé. Everyone seemed in agreement, so I booked us all together with the reasoning that it would save us a lot of money. My fiancé and I make good money, but I wanted the cruise to be financially doable for my parents. My fiancé, a week after that, told me that she feels uncomfortable sleeping in a room with my parents. They'll have a queen bed, she'll be on a bunk, and I'll be on a couch bed. I told her that it's too late to change now, as I paid the full payment and locked us into that room. I'm sorry, back it up. Grown people, 27 and 24, and you want her to be on a bunk? I'm assuming with your parents? No, it's not looking very good. Okay, wow, okay. She wanted me to book us another room, but I told her that I don't feel that is an option because it's looking like it would cost us more than $1,000 to change to the lowest quality room when our original fare was about $250 a person. I said that in my opinion, you don't spend too much time in your room except to sleep, so it wouldn't be as bad as she thinks. Yeah, but that's not like the point. The point is like having your own space. I know for myself, my social battery does not last very long, and I like to have my own space because I also have diagnosed OCD, so maybe I'm a little bit different, but I need my own space to calm down and kind of recharge my battery. And like, I'm comfortable with my boyfriend after 4 years, so I'm fine for him to be in my space. But someone like in-laws or anyone, other than the people I'm like are in my small bubble of people that I'm okay with being in my space.
Let's go. Whoa, no touchy. No touchy. No touch.
I don't want them there 24/7. Like, that's a tiny bathroom you have to share. That's also a small, like, cabins themselves are very small, and you want her to sleep on a bunk bed. Like, it's not sleepaway camp. You're fully adults. It's just like the privacy aspect. It's not like spending too much time in your room. It's about like spending, I don't know, just the privacy. And I'm not surprised she didn't say anything in front of your parents, because I don't know if I would, because it does feel a little bit like, oh, well, if I say something, it's really inconveniencing them because they're going to have to pay almost 3 times or 4 times what they originally were paying. Let's finish this. My family is used to sleeping all in the same room to save money, while her family does not have the same experience. That's true. That does add another element, but also, you're not children anymore. Sorry if you hear my dog being a menace in the background. You're fully adults. So again, like, it's not the same kind of family vacation you would have gone on when you were 13 and you brought your girlfriend. Like, you both are adults and their parents are adults, so just having your own space I feel like is warranted at this point in time. But maybe that's just me. I really want to hear your guys' opinion on this, because I haven't really gone on an adult vacation with anyone other than like my sister and her husband, and Josh and I like had our own room because siblings. But no, like, you're fully an adult. And Reddit agrees with me. Everybody says you're the a-hole. Someone said, this sounds like my idea of hell. What a romantic cruise with your fiance on a bunk bed, you on the sofa, and your parents getting it on in the main bed, all in a tiny cabin. Delightful. See, I didn't even think about that. Like, there's gonna be no getting it on of any sort for anybody, I would hope. But the only cruise I've been on was a Disney cruise, and that one was really small, but a lot of my friends and family have been on them, and they've all commented, like, those are not big cabins. So, yeah, I'm thinking you're the a-hole. They did give an update and say they booked a separate room, so I'm glad. But if you're, my opinion is if you're not going on a vacation that everybody can afford comfortably, then maybe you should shift to a vacation that's more comfortable for everyone. Like, if your parents can't afford a cruise, that's totally fine. Just do something that all of you can afford that's a little bit more within their budget. Like, we have stuff, like, we're 4 hours away from, like, the Tennessee, like, those mountains. That's a lot more doable vacation for someone who can't afford as much versus like the beach. So I know a lot of people that are my age, they go to the mountains for a vacation because we're all still kind of trying to figure things out. So that's a lot more doable than a cruise, because cruises can get very expensive depending on where you're going. Am I overreacting for refusing to go on the family vacation after everything they've done for me? So for context, I, 18 female, just graduated high school this year, and I've been planning to start university in the fall. Congratulations, that's so exciting. You're gonna have so much fun. I've been saving money, applying for scholarships, and trying to be as independent as possible because I can't rely on my family. I understand that. Whether it's financial or dramatic, I hear you, and I was in the same boat. My parents have always had a favorite child, my younger sister, 16 female. It's been obvious since forever. She gets new clothes, a car for her birthday, gets out of chores, you name it. Yeah, heard that. I definitely have experienced something similar.
And none for Gretchen Wieners. Bye.
Anytime I brought it up growing up, I was told I was quote-unquote being dramatic or quote-unquote jealous. But it wasn't just little stuff. It's how they treat me like I'm a burden while she gets praised for doing the bare minimum. Yup. I know this feeling. It all came to a head this month. I got into my top university and I was so proud of myself. But when I told my parents, their reaction was blank. No excitement, no celebration. A few days later, I overheard my mom on the phone saying she didn't think I'd actually make it or last long anyway. Yeah, throw the whole mom away. Meanwhile, my sister failed 2 classes and my parents still took her on a weekend getaway to quote-unquote cheer her up. Here's the kicker. My parents have been planning this big family vacation to Japan this summer. It's supposed to be a bonding trip before I leave for college. But I just found out they booked everyone business class except me. I'm in economy, alone.
Oh my God, I cannot believe, no, I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah, that's jail time right there. Yeah. When I asked why, my mom said, well, we had to prioritize comfort for your sister. She gets anxious on planes. I told them I wasn't going, that I didn't want to be stuck for 2 weeks pretending everything was fine. My dad said I was being ungrateful and that they didn't have to invite me at all. That's also insane. It's a trip for you, but go off, I guess. So now I'm stuck at home while they're all posting selfies in Tokyo, acting like the perfect happy family. My aunt texted me saying I was being immature and punishing everyone for old resentments. Old resentments, I mean, it was about the trip originally, but whatever. But honestly, I don't think I could have handled another trip being treated like I don't exist. So, am I overreacting? Or is skipping the trip the right call? Listen, babes, I think that you should cut them out altogether. But the issue with that is if you cut them out, you have to understand that you're also cutting out any help that you would receive from them. I don't want to be like, quote unquote, selfish or anything, but like, if you do need help later with like bills or moving or a wedding or anything like that, like you do have to think about where they would fit into that. Maybe you just go low contact for a while. I think that you should just go to college and kind of put them on the back burner and see what happens. Like very low contact. If they reach out and put in the effort, then you'll know that they actually care. But if they don't, then you'll also know that they don't care. So that way it would be much easier for you to kind of understand where you stand. Like, I know I had a lot of family drama, and it wasn't until I took some time for me. I didn't come home for literally an entire semester in college, and I felt like my relationships were much healthier on the other side because I had a problem where I felt like people were very codependent on me, and I had anxiety about, like, whenever I left, I was like, oh no, what if they need me and I can't be there, because they were very codependent on me. And by taking that time, it proved to me that that wasn't the only thing going on in our relationship. And I think that that could be good for you to see how much they truly show their love for you. So I'm wishing you all the best. You're not overreacting. I wouldn't have gone either. And yeah, screw them. Respectfully. Or not. Am I overreacting about being expected to work during my vacation? Alrighty, let's see. I put in a vacation request 3 months ago for a 2-week trip overseas, which my manager approved. Now, which is 2 days before my flight, my boss is asking me to be, quote-unquote, available for urgent issues while I'm gone. He literally said, just check your emails in the mornings. It's not like you'll be doing anything important while sightseeing. I'm sorry. Sightseeing is like, you're seeing the sights. That's the important thing that you're doing. Okay.
You're an idiot, now I'm sure.
I pushed back, saying I was planning to disconnect completely, and now my entire team is acting like I'm being difficult. One coworker even said, we all do this, why can't you? But I feel like if I'm using my hard-earned PTO, I shouldn't have to work. Am I overreacting by refusing to be on call during my vacation? Absolutely not. I'm someone who is in corporate, and I've been in healthy corporate situations, and I've been in not-so-healthy ones. If they don't respect your PTO, then that is not a healthy work environment. I can tell you that right now just by reading that.
Period.
If jobs weren't so scary right now, I would literally tell you to find a new one. I mean, I still am going to tell you to find a new one, because that is just, if you are taking PTO, that is paid time off, meaning time off. That's the key words there. If they expect you to work, then they shouldn't have approved your PTO, which I know sucks, but they have the right technically to do that, and then you would still be working and you would be able to use that PTO for something else. If they are crossing that boundary and telling you you need to work during your paid time off, I can only imagine what your weekends and nights look like. Like, they don't, I can tell you they don't respect your boundaries at all. You shouldn't have to set the boundary of, when I'm on PTO, I'm not going to answer anything, but put your foot down. And if that doesn't work, like, I genuinely, before I would do that, like, as soon as I got that email, I would have been looking at other options, because you need a healthy work-life balance. And if a company doesn't understand that, then they definitely view you as nothing but another number and as replaceable, and that's scary. But I don't know, I feel like it's really important to be a part of a corporation where they view you as a person. At the end of the day, it is extremely transactional, and they'll do what's best for the company, and I totally understand that. But if they are treating you like you don't need a break or mental health anything or anything like that, like, which is what it sounds like, because literally you said you're taking this to disconnect. I just took a 4-day break because we had July 4th, so I took an extra day to make it 4 days because I needed it for my mental health. And it was pretty last minute, but even my manager was like, yes, totally take your time. And I, talked to some coworkers, like, I'm feeling burnt out, and they were all totally supportive of it. That is what you need. And I know that I'm very lucky to have that, but if they are not understanding that you are a human being who requires time to recharge, then that's a problem. And that's what I fear this is going down. So yeah, if they're not gonna let you have time off, then they need to give you back that PTO. And I would not answer anything on the vacation, but be completely aware they're probably going to fire you, so have something else lined up or something else you can do until you find something else. Ruined a coworker's vacation. This happened years ago, but it's a good one. I had a lazy coworker that climbed the ladder by charming people without actually working. Once she got into a department that had no interaction with me, I was happy to not deal with her anymore. She was working for a division that should have made her work from home, but she decided to keep an office in the building so she could chit-chat with former coworkers, throwing it in their faces about her traveling for business all over the country while they still had to work in office all day. Pause. I feel like I'm sensing a little bit of bias. I'm sensing a little bit of resentment, and I'm wondering if she was that bad, or if she was just, like, if this is one of those cases where she was younger than you and climbed the ladder faster, so you're, like, being a dick about it. Just a thought. Anyway, keep reading. One late afternoon, she was by the mailroom going on and on about having to fly out first thing in the morning. After she left, I had to drop by the mailroom before leaving for the day to shred some paperwork that had confidential information. The confidential shredder sits on a locked bin, which cannot be accessed by anyone at the company. It's picked up every night by a vendor and replaced with a new bin. Oh, God. As I went to enter the mailroom, I noticed there was a folder on the table right outside the door that had her name on it. So I opened it, and it was her travel plans, complete with airline tickets, car rental information, and hotel reservations. Oh, I picked up the folder and ran it and its contents through the confidential shredder into the locked bin along with my paperwork. I'm sorry. That makes me visibly cringe. Like, this is beyond petty. This is like, I'm wondering, like, were you up for this promotion as well? And they were deciding between the two of you and they chose her? Because this is just like, it's not even like, ooh, that's so petty, but like entertaining. Like, it's just mean. Like, it's just icky. Anyway, keep reading. I didn't see it, but apparently she was at the office bright and early morning, tearing apart her desk and retracing steps looking for her folder before getting back home to look there again. Bummer for her. Not the bummer. Yeah, as you can expect, everybody's eating this person alive. They're like, this is pathetic. As it is, like, this is just mean. Like, this is just straight bullying.
You are the worst person I know.
Ugh, that gives me like, ugh, you can't trust anybody. Like, I'm sure that this girl is actually well liked, and she was telling people about it because they were asking. Like, maybe I'm totally off here because I'm assuming, but I feel like she wouldn't have, like, if people hated her, she probably wouldn't have opted to keep an office and come in to visit everybody. Like, she probably would have got the hint when she was offered to work from home, because I work from home and I genuinely enjoy it, but I do like going in the office to see people when they're around. So I feel like if she, like, if everybody didn't like her, she just wouldn't be there. Like, you can literally work from coffee shop, wherever. So crazy. Am I the a-hole for making my family leave a free vacation? For some backstory, I, 37 male, do not get along with my brother, 42 male. He has a personality that I do not mesh well with, and ever since we were kids, he has kept his distance from me. He is this way with everyone in our family. It has always felt like there is a cold sheet of glass between him and everyone else. Like, he is there with us, but completely inaccessible, and honestly, it creeps me out. That sounds a bit judgmental, because in my first thought goes to neurodivergent. Like, I was very, very quiet growing up, and turns out I am neurodivergent, and I was kind of the odd one out. I had 2 siblings. Turns out I was neurodivergent. And him saying, like, honestly, it creeps me out. That sounds like something my sister would say, because she's, like, a social butterfly and stuff. So, yeah, oof. We're starting off to a bad start. He does not laugh with us. He does not cry at funerals. He does not share his achievements, and he does not congratulate anyone on theirs, choosing instead to send a card or a gift. Again, giving neurodivergent. The other thing that my mind goes to is if he did some sort of partying in college or messed around with any sort of drug. Even some, like, prescribed anxiety medications and stuff can take away your ability to feel and take away your range of emotions, so you are numbed out. And some people just don't have emotions. Like, Josh, my boyfriend, is not a very emotional person, and he does like to send a gift in lieu of being very emotional, and that's just how he is. Like, it's just the way the cookie crumbles. Some people are just like that. I'm sorry I'm already defending this person so much, but I just don't like when people are, like, quick to jump and be like, this person's in the wrong because of how they act, when this is something that, like I said, could be a neurodivergent thing they can't help, or it's just the way they are, or they could have been prescribed or not prescribed something that didn't, like, that affected them negatively. You don't know. Him and I grew up in the same house together, and I don't know a thing about him because we never talked, but somehow he knows what my hobbies are, and for birthdays and Christmas is always able to figure out a good gift. If he's quiet, he's probably extremely observant. That's probably how he knows. Speaking as the observant one. So I feel deeply uncomfortable seeing him in our family gatherings because he very much feels like a stranger who is only there because he pays for things and somehow knows everyone's business but nobody knows theirs. Again, he's a good listener. Very observant. People love to talk about themselves, so all you have to do is sit back and listen, then you know pretty much everything about everyone.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
My brother does very well financially, and he makes it his business to plan and execute family trips. He says he does it because of his mom's dreams to see the world before she had her family, but I always felt like it was more about him rubbing his wealth in our faces, and that's just an excuse. Our family was poor growing up, but he was very smart and managed to get a job straight out of college and climb the corporate ladder extremely quickly. So now he has a ridiculous income that he is always wanting. He is always offering to pay for something or loaning money to our family members, and it feels to me like he wants to hold the money he offers over people's heads so they can disagree with him and make them feel obligated to come on these trips. Somehow, nobody but me sees how manipulative this whole situation is. This year he took us to Moldova. I'm sorry. I don't know how to pronounce that, and I'm terrible for that. I know. And my family was very excited, but at arrival, I found that instead of getting us a suite with 2 beds so my daughter could be supervised, he was planning to give her a separate room. Without discussing it with me, he decided to try and parent my daughter, and I told him he was hugely overstepping to think he could give my 16-year-old a room of her own, and that I don't know what he was thinking to go over my head like that. I don't think that he was attempting to parent your daughter. I think this is just like the one area where you feel like you have control over him, like you have a one-up on him. And so you're like you feel like that was taken away. But I'm no therapist. Okay, continuing. He said that he felt like she was old enough and didn't realize it would be a problem, but he didn't realize, so I told him that I was leaving if he didn't apologize for what he had done. He didn't, so I made my wife and daughter leave with me. Oh, dude, you're the a-hole. I already know. My wife and daughter think that I was being selfish and are angry at me for ending their vacation. Y'all don't understand that I was just trying to protect our family from the overreaching arms of my brother. No, Bestie, you need to protect your family from yourself. This is a train wreck. But I feel unsure of it now that time has passed, and I do wish we could have enjoyed the vacation, as these family vacations are usually the only ones we get. Yeah, and you don't have that much time left with the rest of your family. Like, you never know, bro. So I ask you, Reddit, was I wrong for standing up to my brother? Yes, obviously.
Was that like a joke?
Okay, guys, like, whether your daughter should have gotten a separate hotel room or not, I think that I can see where you're like, you could be upset with that, but saying like you were trying to parent my daughter is like taking it way too far. I don't think that he was trying to do that. I think that he just like assumed, which he shouldn't have, but making a big deal out of it, I really feel like you just like don't like your brother. Edit. I realize that none of you are taking my daughter's safety into consideration. A young girl in a foreign country on her own is in no way appropriate. If I'm the A for caring about my daughter, then fine, I'll be the A. That's not what this is about. You can care for your daughter and say, hey, maybe you shouldn't have done that, without leaving the trip because you made such a big A out of yourself. Someone said, you're the a-hole for literally disliking your brother just because he sucks at being an expressive person. Yeah. Literally, like, this sounds like a lifelong vendetta, and for what? Like, for what? One more that we're gonna dive into. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter to get over herself? My husband said to post this here because he likes to read the sub and thinks people here give good opinions. I'm 50 female, daughter's 26 female. She is getting a PhD and is the first in our family to go to college, let alone grad school. We were talking on FaceTime and she mentioned she was meeting with an advisor to talk about submitting an application for a grant to go to Germany for 2 weeks in the summer. I said it sounded awesome, especially since I'm half German, making her part German as well, and that I've always wanted to see Germany, so maybe I could come out with her and make it a girls' trip. Ooh.
Houston, not only do we have a problem, I very well might be the problem.
No, she said that it's not a vacation if I'm going to be teaching and researching and networking the entire time I'm there. I said she can do that during the weekdays and we can go out to dinner in the evenings and then go sightseeing on the weekends. She said it's already a very cramped amount of time, in parentheses, 2 weeks in Europe, cramped, question mark, and that she wants to spend her free time networking with other academics there, making connections at the university. I said I'm happy to also meet the academics, and she said it wouldn't work like that, and she'd look childish bringing a parent to all of the events with her. I'm trying to, wait to comment, but she is putting quotes around academics, and it almost seems like she's, making fun of her for using that word, and that's making me really upset, but I'm gonna keep reading. At this point, I was feeling completely tossed aside, like I'm not good enough to be around her academic life and academic friends. Like, she would be embarrassed to have me around, so I said, you need to get over yourself and quick, because all of these quote-unquote academics aren't going to be the only people you meet, and not everyone loves her unconditionally to put up with such annoying and elitist talk. She just said okay and hung up. My husband was upset with me because now she's being short with us, but I know he's also annoyed at her constantly going to all these research trips and conventions, a Hawaii trip, a Seattle trip, a DC trip, and whenever we say we want to come with her, and we're not even expecting to be paid for, we'd pay for it ourselves, she's saying she won't have time, completely blowing us off. So since my husband apparently now thinks I'm an a-hole, and my daughter clearly does, I figured I'd ask here. Yeah, you 100% are. The fact that you called her an elitist is crazy. I think that you're just feeling insecure because she didn't only go to college but went to grad school and is becoming a doctor, and that's something you haven't experienced, so maybe as a mother you're feeling like unqualified. Again, therapy speak, I'm not trying to get into that, not a therapist, but that's just the vibes I get from it. She's not going on vacation. You guys know I have my master's. I've also taken quite a few trips that are work related, and you're not like doing vacation stuff, you're working. When I was filming horse shows, I went to a couple places around the US, and they were places I wanted to visit, and aside from maybe an hour at lunch to go and explore, we did not have time. And from my graduate school experience, I know that when you're networking and you're doing academics and you're trying to impress constantly because you have to defend your thesis at the end of this to even get your PhD, so it's all about like how well you can show off what you know. Like, you're not just taking a written test, you're defending a thesis. Everything is about networking, expanding your knowledge, research, how much you can get under your belt. All of that matters, because once you're done with your PhD, then you have to turn around and get a job, and you're competing against people who also were doing research and networking and getting grants and doing as much as they possibly could to become the best in their field. It's very competitive, it's extremely stressful, and it's a lot of work. She's not going to have any time. And I think also, maybe I just, like, this was just written weird, but the fact that your default response to her being like, yeah, I'm going to Germany for this grant, is to, like, what about me? Like, can I go too? You know, you're a little German. Like, we're all, you know, I'm German too. We should go. Like, I don't like that. Maybe you could have, like, held off a second to acknowledge her achievement of even getting the opportunity for this. But, you know, whatever. I understand where she's coming from, because if she does have any downtime, it's extremely strenuous work. It's very time consuming. It's very, like, it's just exhausting in all areas, I think is what I'm trying to say. So she's probably wants to cool off and have some time to herself and not have to talk to anybody or do anything or feel any sort of obligation to go anywhere whenever she can. She's also 26, so I get where she's coming from, and, like, I understand how that could, like, mess with your reputation, like, maybe bringing your mom, but I don't know, maybe she does feel a need to overcompensate because she doesn't come from a long line of people with doctorates or anything like that, so she doesn't want to kind of hurt her reputation in any way. That's another just guess. Either way, no matter what her reasoning is, I think that if she is clearly uncomfortable with the idea, you should respect her as your daughter and as an adult, and not call her an elitist when she's not. She's just being honest. She 100%, like, that is her life. Her whole life is that. And there's not much room for anything else outside of that. So, yeah. I want to know your opinions on every single thing I talked about. Tell me all of it down below. I am going to go, but I will see you guys next Sunday. Let me know your thoughts on everything. If you stayed till the end of this, comment the palm tree emoji so that I know you're a real one if you're on a platform where you can comment. And if not, go ahead and comment on my latest Instagram and I'll know where you came from. But yeah, I will catch you guys on the flippity flip. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys!